So I'm trying a new mount. I actually have a selfie stick attached to the ceiling, and so you may see a little bit of movement, but this might be a good thing because I want you to see what I see. So here's what I see. Cool, huh? Alright. Here's a cylinder head done by, it's actually done by another builder. It wasn't me. I didn't do this one. Yeah, the piston kind of, well, ate itself. So it's like, gee, you know, what happened? So the first thing that I did was, when I tore it down, I did a pressure and vac test. I actually spent some time on it because I had just messed with the clutch side seal, and I wasn't too happy about some of the stuff that was in that around the clutch, and it just wasn't as neat and tidy as I'd like. So I kind of tidied it up, and in the process, the bushing that creates the seal over there came out. So I ended up kind of tidying it up and handing it back to the guy, and the guy ran it, and then a couple of days later it's back, and yeah, it's got a new problem. It won't start. You know, okay, great. So something happened. I was like, okay, well, let's have a look. And this time we pulled the muffler, and sure enough, the piston was shot. That's not the piston's problem, obviously. There's a leak somewhere. So I figured, well, shucks. Maybe I messed up the seal. Maybe I did something. And after about an hour of investigating and pressure testing and this and that, I came to the conclusion that the seal on both sides is fine. I couldn't find a leak, so I had to dunk it in some water. I dunked the whole thing in some water for a pressure test, and I found the intake leaking. I'm like, well, that's interesting. How about that? The intake boot's ripped. Now, when I did the pressure and vac test, it held pressure pretty good, but not vacuum. I'm assuming that's it, but I don't know for sure. Sure looks like that could be the problem. So, what to do? Well, go back to the poor man's porting here. Clean this up. Clean the whole thing up. You know, it's a little rough in some areas, so maybe I can kind of smooth that up. Not really much done to the lowers here. Some guys do, some guys don't. Fine. The uppers look fine. The intake is fairly smooth, even here, which counts. The exhaust is nice looking, but obviously there's a lot of transfer on there. So I've got some photos of it. I'll try to include some photos, and let's see if we can get the transfer off. I've been kind of trying to do my own thing with getting the transfer off, and it really hasn't worked. So I finally made a split mandrel out of an old drywall screw. I got some emery, just plumber's emery cloth there. Put it in my Dremel. And put this on fairly low speed too. Don't want to go nuts. Now it'd be nice to have a variable speed with this, but I don't have that right now. So, or at least not with the Dremel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, see if I can take some of the transfer off. I'm going to turn the Dremel way down for speed. And just go over it. Easy. definitely getting better. Quite a bit of transfer here though, so I'm going to have to take my time and keep at it. Mastermind says, don't worry about going through the plating, you won't go through the plating. Okay, we'll see. Take a little bit of the emery cloth off and keep going. Maybe that's... I got a new piece. You can see this. This is just a screw with a split down the middle. Place to put some emery cloth. Of course, I'm low on emery, so let's try some 50 grit. So Mastermind's right. I'm not going through the plating. And that's 50 grit. Peel off the end, keep going. One of the issues with 372 OEM cylinders is a lip. So part of this poor man's porting here is that I gotta get rid of that lip at least. And this was a base gasket delete. If I can get rid of the lip, get rid of all that, and maybe put a gasket in here, then I can adjust the squish like that. Put a gasket back. The original piston that was in here was a pop-up, just for documentation's sake. Gonna guess about 40 thousandths. $53. Probably aiming for 50 thousandths pop-up. Problem with this is it thins out the base significantly. Hopefully this cylinder's salvageable. We'll see. And now I'm going to run my piston in here with some sandpaper on it. And see if we can't get rid of that lip. Let's see. They're both kind of used. I think I should put some new sandpaper on these. Going to do that with some JB Weld. Pause. Piston with some sandpaper on it. Wrist pins in. It's a useless piston, it's junk, but gotta see if we can get rid of that lip. I don't honestly know if I'm going to be able to take out enough with this method, because the base has obviously been cut a lot, so I don't know if I'll be able to take out quite enough. Oh, and then spun off. Shucks. Try again. That plating lip is almost gone. Good thing I got two of these made up. And we're getting there. Getting there. I'd like to take out just a tad more. and then I'll test it on the saw. So that should be much better. Cleaner looking. I'm going to throw this in the ultrasonic, let it sit there for a while, and I may have to cut a pop-up, but let's see. So I've got a lot of Durco on here. That's what it looks like, and you know what? Durco's great, but I got to get it off. So this is just plumber's putty. I just want to make sure no shavings go down in to the bearings, or to the main bearing, or whatever, right? Now I can take my Dremel with the stainless wheel and work this stuff off. I can just take some carb cleaner, give it the old wipe. Nothing wrong with the crank bearings. There's no play anywhere. So we're going to leave the bearings there as is. I like to get this down to shiny metal, and this looks old, so let's get fresh. And this comes as a dull surface, so I don't know if I can get it shiny. Yeah, I can. Look at that. That shines right up. Takes time. So now we're down to shiny metal. Yay. I'm going to put a new impulse hose on here too. This is old. Did a video a while back on fuel line, and this impulse hose from Steel is part of it, so you can check that out. Nice stuff. And specifically rated for impulse line, by the way. It uses impulse line on the Steel 200Ts, and yeah, I like it. I think it's good. So now we can just undo all this stuff. I just don't like stuff going down in the old bearings, you know? There you have it, nice and clean, smooth. That's fine, ready to accept the cylinder.